Investigators in California are searching for a possible motive in the killing of 9-year-old Melodee Buzzard. Now, she vanished while on a road trip with her mother, triggering a massive multi-state search. Well, now her mother, Ashlee, has been charged with first-degree murder in Melodee's death, pleading not guilty during a Friday court appearance. CNN's Marybel Gonzalez joins me now. Marybel, what's the latest on this story?
Hi, Danny. Well, the long search for 9-year-old California girl Melodee Buzzard is now over, but the hunt for answers into exactly what happened to her is just beginning. Now, her mother, as you just mentioned, Ashlee Buzzard, appeared before a judge Friday following her arrest Tuesday. She's charged with first-degree murder in her daughter's killing, which, according to a criminal complaint, was carried out with exceptional, quote, cruelty and viciousness. Now, after searching for 2 months across 8 states, Melodee's body was found on December 6th in the rural community of Caneville, Utah, by a couple who pulled off a state highway onto an easily missed dirt road. Now, authorities said she died from gunshot wounds to her head. Now, they also say that evidence points to a suspect whom Melodee trusted the most in this world, her mother. Ashlee Buzzard has pleaded not guilty on Friday, and prosecutors said they would not seek the death penalty if she is convicted, but would instead ask for life in prison without parole. Now, Melodee's family had a strong reaction to that announcement.
The prosecution stating that they're not going to seek the death penalty, I don't understand why. I mean, they're going to seek life in prison, that's fine, but I think for what she did, it should be a lot worse.
Now, it's interesting to note that many of Melodee's extended relatives said they had not seen her in years, and it was ultimately not her family that reported her missing back in October, but rather a concerned school administrator. Now, Melodee was last seen on video with her mom, Ashlee, on October 9th near the Colorado and Utah state line while on a road trip, both appearing to wear wigs. Detectives now believe Melodee was killed shortly after this video was taken. Now, they also say they were hindered by deliberate efforts to hide the truth from clumsy disguises, swapped license plates, and an uncooperative mother who could not provide a reasonable explanation for her daughter's whereabouts. We have reached out to Ashlee's attorney for comment. She is due back in court in January. Danny?
Oh, man, such a sad and bizarre story. Marybel, thank you so much. Just before you go, though, can you tell us what exactly happens next in this case?
Well, this is she just got charged with first-degree murder charge. She did plead not guilty. She is back for a preliminary hearing back in court, and that is when we will see where this case goes, legally speaking.
Okay, got it. So a lot more in the new year. Marybel Gonzalez, thank you so much for that. Appreciate it. All right, I want to get an expert perspective on this now. I'd like to bring in former senior FBI profiler Mary Ellen O'Toole. Thank you so much for joining us and for breaking down a really complex, bizarre case. Let's start here. What does Ashlee Buzzard's, Melodee's mother, of course, lack of cooperation with investigators suggest about her potential involvement here?
Well, it's not just her lack of participation in the case. It's a combination of behaviors and forensic evidence that they're looking at. So the fact that she's not cooperating with law enforcement, that's certainly significant. But they're also looking at how well the trip was planned, all the effort and the behavior that went into that premeditation that went into the planning. So when you combine all that together, I mean, it came across to them that this woman did not want to participate, did not want to help find her daughter. And as more evidence is collected, then she begins to look, more and more responsible for what happened to Melodee.
You know, this stood out to a lot of us. I believe the criminal complaint describes the act as a calculated and vicious killing. That struck me as really strong language. What specific evidence led investigators to characterize it this way?
Well, probably several things. And the one thing that really has jumped out at me is that this is a little girl, and she is, according to the reports, and that could certainly change, but she was shot in the head. And that's tantamount to an assassination. She's then left along the side of the road. And in my old unit, the profiling unit, we look at the ways bodies are disposed of. They're staged, they're buried, or they're dumped. And this body was dumped on the side of the road. And when a body is dumped, that implies I don't care about this person anymore. They're meaningless to me. And in some instances, the offender views the victim as garbage. So when I look at the cause of death and the way that Melodee was left on the side of the road, that certainly suggests to me that it was extremely cold. And then the planning on top of that suggests that it was very calculated and intentional. So it rules out defenses like impulsive act, accidental act, and then it begins to help investigators really narrow down what the motive or motives might have been.
Well, and again, I've been out there in parts of Utah, which is very, there are parts that are really rural. It's amazing that anyone ultimately found that poor girl's body. Given that
Yes.
Melodee had been missing, though, for months, why do you think it took investigators so long to formally charge her mother, Ashlee, despite actually having her in custody earlier on a false imprisonment charge?
They needed the forensic evidence, and what they need in a case like this is they needed Melodee's body. They needed to be able to determine cause and manner of death, which they now have. They needed strong forensic evidence, which they have, which is the DNA, and then they also have the ballistic evidence. So you can't go into court on a major case like this and just explain that the mother wouldn't cooperate, because there could be a lot of reasons for that. You have to say Melodee is not just missing, Melodee is dead. She's dead as a result of homicide. Homicide is the result of a gunshot wound to the head, which is tantamount again to an assassination. So we can rule out all of these other motives. So they needed all of that to paint the correct picture of very likely what happened here.
And yet still it seems that we're in the very early stages. So I guess from your perspective, what do you expect investigators and, of course, ultimately prosecutors to do next as we enter the new year?
Well, one of the first things that a jury is going to want to understand is there is this sweet little girl. What could possibly this child have done to cause this kind of behavior? So as best as they can, they will go back and attempt to establish the relationship that the mother had with the daughter and what took place in that relationship. And that's going to be a challenge because Melodee was homeschooled. She was removed from the rest of her family. So that's going to take months of investigative work to be able to establish that pattern of behavior that led up to, at least right now, what appears to be that this child was not wanted by her mother, maybe even hated by the mother, got in the way of the mother's life. But to get to that point, they have the evidence, but I think they need to walk the jury through that so they can understand that's more than likely a possible motive in this case.
Again, a lot more to come on such a sad and bizarre story. Mary Ellen O'Toole, thank you so much for your perspective. Really do appreciate it.
You're welcome.